Hello everyone, so this is Easter weekend. As you can see, we are ready with the decorations. Lots of eggs, lots of bunnies and baskets filled with chocolate eggs, and we have red colored eggs, painted eggs, all sort of things what is needed. But this year it came out that way that I am actually working. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to edit what I videoed last year, so you have a full episode. But as a beginning, I wanted to show you this year decoration. So this is how it is. Happy Easter, my internet friends. Happy Easter, internet friends. I saw a video where a guy said that basically Easter is a brunch where you can get drunk 11 o'clock before noon and so on. I hadn't realized that there are so many ways to celebrate Easter. For us, it's completely different. I don't remember that we ever drank alcohol. What we do, Easter Monday morning, very early Monday morning, boys and girls separate, and the girls, they stay at home. The boys, they go house to house to visit the girls, the ladies. They approach the house, they knock on the doors, they get in, they are welcomed, but only very shortly, like good morning, and that's all. And the ladies are basically queuing up if there is more than one in the house. Obviously, you never ask the age of a lady, but basically they are queuing up that the oldest one is the first standing next to you. There is a rhyme to say. It's quite easy to remember. It's basically a few lines, so very easy to remember, and it's about like, for example, the most popular one is I can even translate that. I went to the forest, green forest, and I saw a blue lily. It was drying out and it was sad. May I pour some water over it? That's it. That's the rhyme. And it means that that the lady will stay forever young. It preserves the condition she is in. And after saying the rhyme, you need to wait for the answer. And usually the answer, 99% or even 100%. So the answer is yes. And then you pour water, just a little bit, on the hair. Or you can use perfume as well. And then in return, you receive a painted egg. Happy Easter, internet friends. This is part 2. Yesterday, as I was walking home, well, it was very difficult to get home. It kinda took twice the time it should have been. So I decided to record a video The idea was that it's gonna be under a minute long, but it was almost 4 minutes long. I was like, okay. And then when I went home, I made a video of the decoration, you know, the bunnies everywhere and the colored, painted eggs and the flowers. So everything, I wanted to document and show you everything, how my house looks like. And then I put the audio and the video, the visual together. And because I was walking, and this is how I recorded the audio together, it was kind of funny to me. But I said, okay, this is Easter, and I just published it. But then I still, you know, I think of it like it's kind of funny. So I said, okay, let's do a part 2, because actually I don't want to delete it, because the things I am talking about, it's quite interesting for people who celebrate Easter differently. And I didn't mention it in part 1, but I'm going to mention it here in part 2, because we don't have time constraint right now, that I'm very, very interested how other cultures celebrate springtime. So let's go back to it, how we do it in Eastern Europe. Right now, of course, I am based in the UK, in London, because I don't know, I'm a lifelong traveler, and the best place for me to live is London, because it's very cheap. Well, it's not cheap anymore, but I would say very affordable to go anywhere in the world. And right now, my list is not that long how it was before 2020, but I still need to go to Brazil, to South America, to Japan, and 5 other countries. So that is the travel list, but we're not gonna talk about that today. This is part 2 of Happy Easter video series. And in part 1, I explained to you how in Eastern Europe, especially in Hungary, what we do with the family, what we do with friends. So what I'm going to do, I tell you some funny stories, because obviously when you visit family, it will be always the same. You know, you have the good time, and you just basically relax for the day, and you know, some catching up, lots of talking and everything, stories. You catch up with your family. But it's always funny when you go to visit friends, especially new friends. And I am going to talk about that one, because one time when I was about 16, 17 years old, I woke up very early, Easter Monday. I dressed up, you know, tie and suit and everything. And I decided to visit some girls of my age from the school. And I went to this house, which was absolutely beautiful, like almost like 100 years old house. And I really liked the girl as a friend. I really liked on the house parties, we danced together and everything. We had a good time. And I like the family as well. The father was doing lots of things, like the father was part of the volunteer, like neighborhood watch and all this stuff, and had very, very good stories about him. So I loved the family, I loved the brothers, I loved her. So I decided to go and visit her on Monday morning. And I was very early, you know, because my grandpa came like 4 o'clock in the morning, anyway, before 5 o'clock in the morning, to my mother. And you know how it goes. I explained it to you in part 1. You enter the house of the lady, you say the rhyme, it's a couple of lines long, and then you pour water on the lady's hair, or you can use perfume or anything like that. It doesn't matter. It's the gesture is more important, the most important. And then the lady will be forever young, and everything's gonna be fine, basically, because it's spring, you know. And this is what I did. I went to the house, you know, I knocked on the door, I was all dressed up, you know, and and what happened is that the girl was very surprised that I showed up. Because what happened is that she didn't expect anyone. And you know, that was the very first time I visited her on Easter Monday. And she was like very, very surprised. And she was going up and down in the flat. And her mother helped her to find an egg, a painted egg. You need to give, like, painted, it could be anything, but usually it's like, it's painted in red. As I said, the house was beautiful, almost like 100 years old. And I remember the flat being amazing, like lots of books, lots of furnitures, like, you know, you couldn't put even a napkin, an extra napkin in the flat because it couldn't fit. It was completely full of things, but everything put in a very, very nice order. It was a home. But what I realized when I entered the house, there was very little to none decoration, Easter decoration. And you know what? You know what? This girl, she was going up and down in her house, in her home, until she managed to find a painted egg. And she did find the egg. And she came back, and I said the verse, you know, the few lines, and then, you know, perfume and everything, and I received the egg. It was a chocolate egg, but you can buy in the shop. But it was very interesting. I will always remember this scene because she could have done so many other things. She could say that I'm so sorry, I'm not at home, or come back later, or refuse the whole thing. But she did not. She let me go in, and you know, the brothers were there, the parents were there, and everyone assisted her to find a chocolate egg to do this tradition, this Easter Monday morning tradition. And that was like how the family worked together, how all of us worked together. And it was like so great. I will always remember this one. And then we were talking about things, you know, like she really liked the science fiction movies. So we were talking about that. And she liked the martial arts and all these like military stuff. So we were talking about this, and I said thank you, and I left. And I'm so happy. So if I need to tell a story about Easter Monday outside of my family with a friend that involves a friend, it would be definitely this scene. So happy about this. It was amazing. And I still remember even her hair. It was black, very long, straight, not wavy. She was naturally shy, but in the same time, because of the lots of martial arts and everything, lots of practice, she had a very strong presence as well. It was years and years ago. I hope she is good right at this moment. I haven't seen her for years. Happy Easter, internet friends. It's raining. I'm under trees, you know, but still I need my umbrella. which I got from my client. She looked at me and asked that, it's raining, do you have an umbrella? And I never in my life used umbrella, but this time I actually needed it. So I'm under the trees. You can hear the birds singing because it's early morning, Monday morning, Easter Monday morning, and you are listening to Happy Easter, my internet friends, part 3. So you probably watched the first episode and the second, and you know what is it about. I am based in London. I am standing underneath London trees, but I am from Eastern Europe and we have different traditions. But this episode will be about these traditions because I started to travel very early in life. For example, when I was 10 years old, my relatives, family members who were already born in the USA, they asked me if I wanna go and do the high school in New York. And for some reason at that time I refused. So I stayed in Hungary, in my native Hungary. And then I went to travel. I lived in 5 countries. And for me it was always very, very easy to make friends. So I live with people from Asia, people from South Asia, people from France, and I could talk about these things for hours and hours and hours, no end. And the very first time I kinda felt, but obviously you're like a young person, you're a kid, you're a young person, and then you're an adult. Sometimes they say you're an adult when you're reach the age of 18, sometimes it's 21, and so on. And someone even said that you're adult when you have your driving license or you're moving away from your parents to your own flat, which is in a current economic situation. It's most probably, especially in London, it's not gonna be your flat, it's gonna be like a shared living sort of situation, and you're gonna live together with 4 or 5 people or even more. So that's it. This is how I live with different kind of nationals. And I remember that I reached the next stage in my life when I was living with a family, and I had my own room, and downstairs there was a family, and there was a second floor with another family, and so on. And the family on the ground floor, what they did, the lady who was actually very young, so basically she probably had her children when she was like 18, 19. So when she was like at the end of her 20s, so the kids were like, quite big already, like 8, 9, 10 or something. There was a boy and a girl. And Easter Monday morning, it was not raining, right? It is raining now that I need to be standing under the trees with an umbrella that I just got from a client because I was working. So, and I work at night. It was actually very sunny, and she alone, she went to the garden because we had a lovely garden there. She went to the garden and she was moving in an S shape, turning right, moving right, and then left, and right again, and left. And she was dropping chocolate eggs. In the last episode I was talking about hand painted eggs. There is actually a technique how to take the middle part out of the egg, so you have the empty shell, and then you dry it out and you paint it. But this one, the lady a couple of years ago, when she went to our garden, she was dropping on the floor, hiding in the grass, chocolate eggs, blue eggs and red eggs and yellow and so on. She was hiding it there. And I remember this when I was young. We were doing the same thing. So as kids, you need to go to the garden and you need to find the eggs that the rabbit laid before, and you need to collect as much as you can. So it's basically like a Halloween when you dress as a monster or something like that, and you go house to house, trick and treat. This is the same thing. You go and check every place in the garden and you find these chocolate eggs, and then later you collect them all. The game is over when you collected them all, and then you can have them for later. And that was, I remember this, that was the very first time in my life when I was like, I felt really good to see this Eastern European tradition abroad. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This is Easter weekend, end of March, beginning of April. So it's Fool's Day as well. And the tree in my garden is blooming